I might have asked you this the first time we chatted, but so uh, so I grew up with Theravada in Buddhism for the most part because Sri Lankan family and all that kind of stuff. Um, so in the Zen center, uh, so even ordained priests are allowed to marry, have relationships, and I think at some point you even mentioned that you guys had like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu or something along those lines as well. So can you talk a little bit about that? Just the lifestyle of a monk, like what's off limits, what's not, what's
Yeah,
expected of you.
right. Well, I can honestly say that I think that Soto Zen is something that you know it tries to realize that to stay alive as a religion, as a way of life, it needs to stay dynamic with what's going on, and to be in touch with what's going on. Um, and keeping in mind about balance. And the Buddha started off with this thing initially with just like asceticism, where he almost died and almost starved himself to death. And some of the stories might be a little hyperbolic, but trying to live off of 1 grain of rice a day and that sort of thing. And there's a certain desperation, I guess you'd say, or almost zealotry that can come out of, being too ascetic. Just, and then there's this other thing that, I don't think that anyone's ever reached, a very enlightened state through pure hedonism either. And so, I mean, I think that what Zen is getting at is trying to have people figure out how to live a healthy, balanced life, and it might seem a little ascetic to people that live in the modern world, but it might not be as ascetic as people think. I mean, I think that, as a manager of a Zen center that has, a website and has, modern tools, we use, Slack, we use Asana for project management. Um, we have, all sorts of, I Zoom at least 3 or 4 times a day in regard to video conferences. And in those video conferences, I share PowerPoints and make, presentations and all that sort of thing. And um, so how do I interact with these tools and um, do it in a way that isn't just, doing a job, but is really Zen practice? And I've got my, you know, um, my Asana right here, and it's with the, so I can video chat with people. But I do the Pomodoro technique where I work for 25 minutes intentionally, and then I take 5 minutes and do something completely different. And I've got a place for my phone, and when I pick up my phone, I try to at least touch it with 2 hands initially. That's what you do in Zen to give honor to like an object and bring your attention to it. And I bought this for my, or maybe I think a friend gave it to me, but it's just like a steel case holder for a phone, and it just sits on my desk like that. And that's the only place it goes when it's on my desk. And I try to respect that technology, and I have a boundary with it, and that boundary is that at 7:30 in the morning, I start seeing texts and I start seeing email, and at 7:30 at night, it shuts off, and I can't see texts and email. And I let calls come through because I'm the director of the center, and sometimes I might need to respond if it's an emergency. But people know that if it's after 7:30 at night, they have to phone me. And there has to be some sort of relationship that exists with technology as it unfolds and becomes more and more daunting to to keep your sanity in the middle of it. And so I think that the modern Zen priest is going to be talking to people that are in the midst of, technological overload. And they've got their Fire TV stick, and they've got their Amazon Prime and their Hulu and all these different things. And some of those things can be awesome, but it's just like, trying to wash dishes. If you put, half a box of detergent in the dishwasher, it's not actually helping clean the dishes anymore. And so people have to look at the body of work, what makes up my life. And am I overwhelmed? Am I overloaded? So I think Hulu's just fine, and Amazon Prime is just fine, and Netflix is just fine. But if you subscribe to every single service out there, and Apple Plus, and Sundance, and and you're constantly getting messages from these things and managing all the different relationships and making sure you're paying for it, and did you get the right deal, and get this special over here, and blah, whatever. And then now they're sending you, they profiled you, and they know all the stuff that you're interested in on the AMC channel. And it's just like, wow, that could become like your whole life, this whole media blitz. And so, is there ever a day in the month where I don't actually interact with technology? Ever? And if I do I go through withdrawal symptoms? That might be a sign of where I'm at. Can I put down my phone for 4 hours and not look at it ever, while I'm awake? And I think that, can I have a zone in my where I live that is a technology-free zone? Can I say that, my bedroom, there's no TV, there's no phone, there's no Asana, there's no whatever, there's just like a bed, or do I feel, and can I ever do one thing at a time? I know people that haven't ever just had a meal and only eaten for years. you know, Sit down and just eat. Me and whatever it is that I enjoy. I enjoy pizza. And so I sit down, and can I just enjoy my pizza, or do I have to enjoy my pizza and be like checking my phone and have the music on and have the TV on and have whatever else going on, or streaming something on YouTube. It's like, so the principles of the Zen practice, it's almost like if I went into my apartment and I didn't have anything to do with technology, and I didn't have anything to do with modern media, and if I didn't have anything to do with social media, and if I just came home and had like this spare apartment with a bed, and I ate all my meals out of like a bowl, and I didn't use anything but just like very base ingredients, vegetables, tofu, rice, chopsticks, a bowl, and just but made things like super stereotypical monkish. I don't know how much I would relate to the students, you know. Um, and different religious practices. I think of the Mennonites. I think of the Amish. There are people who have at some point in time drawn a line in the sand and said, "Okay, no further." We're whatever advances happen in engineering and technology and whatever, no further. But I think that would limit my ability to actually talk to people when I talked to a person after a talk I gave at a tech company a couple of years ago about relationships with technology and setting boundaries. And she literally, this is true. She came up to me and said that the first step she was going to do was that she was going to stop watching Netflix in the shower. And I was like, I never even thought of that. But, she had her, iPad, stuck to the wall with a waterproof thing that apparently you can buy to, have your iPad in the shower. And she would be in there watching the Kardashians or whatever, and that was like, and but because I do have, I think currently I have a subscription to Amazon Prime, Netflix, and the Sundance Channel or something like that. I alternate them. Sometimes I have Sling because I want to watch like the Super Bowl or whatever, But yeah, so I generally know what's out there. I have a Twitter account, I have an Instagram account, I have a Facebook page. And for anybody out there that's watching this and you want to look up Michael McCord on Facebook, I am doing a fundraiser right now for Zen Center. So you can check out the Zenathon on my Facebook page. But those sorts of things I think are where a lot of people are living. And it would be really hard for me to relate to what people are talking about. I could talk about basic Zen principles, but to tell them how I relate those Zen principles to using my iPhone, that would be hard if I just said, okay, I'm not going to do the mobile phone thing. You know, I'm a monk, and if you want to reach me, write me a snail mail letter or whatever, you know. And I don't know that there'd be necessarily something wrong with it, but that's the way that I view it as a Zen priest and how it, I guess you'd say, manifests in my life. And um, yeah, I think that that's where people are living, and I want to meet them there.